Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanton, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Folks, all hell just broke loose. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So Stephen A. Smith done it again. So, as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith had some issues recently with Michelle Beadle, right? Where we did a show about it, reacting to what she had to say, where she went at him, says she can't stand him, she's praying for his downfall, blah, 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 blah. And I think Stephen A. Smith did a rebuttal show to it. Well, what I was unaware of, and I saw the clip on it, the thumbnail rather, on his channel, but I didn't watch the show. I saw Cari Champion up there, and I'm like, how did Cari Champion end up in all of this mess? Right? Where did she, So I didn't see it. But then I saw an article today from Awful Announcing featuring Stephen A. Smith's response to Cari Champion. And they actually played it. And what essentially Cari Champion was saying to Stephen A. Smith as he is going through his process of responding to Michelle Beadle, she said, keep the same energy. Now, what would she be speaking about? She's talking about keeping the same energy in terms of the fervor he went at Jasmine Crockett with. She would like for him to do the same with Michelle Beadle, which essentially set Stephen A. Smith off, and he did not hold back. So for those of y'all who didn't hear what he had to say in response, or want to play his comments for you now, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith's response to Cari Champion.
Let me get to somebody I do know. At least I thought I knew. And that's Miss Cari Champion. Cari Champion is a person that used to host First Take. Used to work at ESPN. Used to do Sports Nation, stuff like that. Did a pretty damn good job too. And I have to tell you, I was taken aback, and I think the word shocked does apply when it came to this Michelle Beadle brouhaha. And seeing Cari Champion say this about me. Please play cut number 7.
Stephen A. I played that Michelle Beadle clip for one reason and one reason only. I'm old enough to remember being on that show and getting in trouble based on some comments you said about women and whether or not they should know their place when it comes to abuse or non-abuse. Ray Rice comes to mind. Not going to get into the details of all of that. But Beadle just came for you yet again, like she did when I worked at ESPN. I wonder, do you have that same smoke for her that you have for Jasmine Crockett, that you have for Michelle Obama, that you sometimes display for me and Jamel Hill? Do you have that same smoke? I'm sick of it. Keep the same energy. And I call you and I root for you and I say, hey, I got your back. I'm happy for you. But you keep that same energy, sir, for everybody.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You just said, Cari, you called me, you root for me. Why would you root for somebody that called you out in Jamel Hill, who's your good friend? Because it's never happened. Never. I've shown you nothing but love. What are you talking about? You were hired at First Take in large part because of me. You stayed as long as you stayed and had the support of the people that supported you because of me. Do I need to get bosses to confirm that I'm telling the truth? You know I can. When we see the diverse people that come on First Take, black people, women, the list goes on and on. Who did that? That wasn't happening when Skip was there. That was me. What are you talking about? When have I spoken against you? When have I thrown shade against you? When did that happen? That is a lie. Me? Dogging Cari Champion? When? And if I did it, why did you call me and root for me? What are you sick of? Or did you just want the attention? You see, we're going to have a deeper discussion right here and now because I'm sick of this. And I'm not going to be scared by women that I have loved on for many, many years as a colleague and as a contemporary and watching folks back. It doesn't mean everything that I'm going to do is going to please you. But y'all are talking without facts. We want to talk about, like Michelle Beadle talked about and other people talk. Ask John Skipper. Ask Connor Shell. Ask Norby Williamson. I'm usually not supposed to give out names, but what I'm saying to y'all is, whether it's Dave Roberts, it's a Burke Magnus, it's a Jimmy Pitaro, or anybody else, ask them my support. For numerous people that have walked through the walls of ESPN, including you and Jemele Hill. What are you talking about? I didn't want Jemele Hill to leave. I've been on the air religiously stating she's a miss for us. Highly intelligent, very accomplished, good peoples. What are you talking about? When? Can somebody here please find something that on the record when I'm on the air something talking about Jemele Hill and Cari Champion? You were at the Tennis Channel. And I brought you over to ESPN. Not just me. Had to get approval. Had to get Skip Bayless support because he was the number one guy. Who you think did it? Who you think did it? I can get into a whole bunch of details that surrounded you not necessarily ending up there. If Skip had his way or somebody else had their way, it was me that stopped that.
Excellent. So you heard what he had to say, what he had to say in response to her. What are my thoughts about this? They're talking about different things. Stephen A. Smith is talking about the fact that during his time at First Take, especially as the main guy, there's been a lot of diversity. All right, that he's pushed for people to get employment at the network or on his show, like herself, Cari Champion, and many other examples that he gave. And I believe all of that is true. But what Cari's talking about is totally different than what he's talking about. She's not talking about all the people that you help get jobs on First Take. She's talking about the tone and the manner at which you were going at Jasmine Crockett, whom, by the way, didn't really say anything to you, but you can understand she's a public figure, she's a political figure, so it's free game. She was saying how adamant you were and how firm you were in your positions on a daily, weekly basis towards her, and how boisterous you were when you were calling her out and talking about the way she speaks and all of that. She's saying she would like that same kind of response towards Michelle Beadle. Now, Cari Champion isn't breaking any ground here. Why? Because Stephen A. Smith was also called out for his lukewarm response to who? Serena Williams' husband on First Take. Because people are like, wait a minute. When it comes to the brothers and all of that, you be ready to roll up them sleeves, man. And you be ready to go off in a hot second. But when Son called you out on your show and was checking you, you were awfully timid and agreeable. And many people called him out on that. So essentially what I think is happening here is it's the same situation repeating itself, except now it's the dynamic is Michelle Beadle and Jasmine Crockett. That's what she's saying. Stephen A. Smith is answering a totally different thing, which is, I'm surprised that you're saying this about me. I helped you at ESPN. I promote a lot of diversity at the network, blah, 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 blah. All of those things may be true. Right. And I'm sure they are true. But she's talking about the way you went at Jasmine Crockett. Right? Because this wasn't my idea. She'd like to see him go at Michelle Beadle with the same fervor that you did Jasmine Crockett. I think that's all she's saying. And to be fair, in his response, he did not do that. He spoke about something else, which is true, but the thing that she was asking him to do, he didn't do. But I think Stephen A. Smith was more upset at the fact that she would say something like this publicly. Now, where I think Stephen A. Smith kind of misses the boat here is that he lost a lot of support from his community after that whole Jasmine Crockett thing. I don't think eventually he had to come out there and kind of put out an apology and say, hey, look, apologize and all of that. But he lost a lot of support. Like, a lot of people called him out for that. Like a lot from his community. Right? So I think the way he went at Jasmine Crockett supersedes how Cari Champion may have felt about him in terms of their work relationship or whatever. Maybe that situation was more important than their relationship. Hence the reason she probably went public, or she went public to, call him out for it. All right, so that's what she's saying. He didn't answer it, but that's what she's saying. This is just at least my interpretation of the situation. So you guys let me know what you think about this in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.